Hello everyone, welcome to Nareen's Life with MS. This is Nareen and it is time for a Sunday check-in. And hopefully, considering it is a Sunday check-in, I hope you had a great weekend. Did end up doing, well, it wasn't the most funnest of weekends for me, but I wouldn't complain just considering that I actually got the much needed rest I wanted. And of course, I am recording this a little bit earlier so that I can definitely do myself a favor and actually do a slightly longer uh, meditation after this so that I feel a little better about myself going into next week. But of course, one thing that I did want to talk about, um, this Sunday check in is just like I check in with everyone this Sunday. Um, you know, I think one thing that generally we tend to forget, especially when we lead such busy lives, is to check in with our friends. And the reason I am saying that is because yesterday I had the beautiful opportunity to connect with a very near and dear friend. Unfortunately, he lives, in another country, definitely a different time zone. But the fact that we were able to connect, um, joke around, speak in multiple languages, and do all of those things just made my day a lot better. It made everything just a little bit sweeter. And honestly, one of the things, and I did mention this before, but having a condition like MS can be relatively isolating. Just because you can meet someone else who has MS and they might be facing completely different issues and completely different symptoms from you, and so you yourself can question if your MS is a good or a bad MS. I mean, all MS is bad, let's just say that. But I do want to take this as an opportunity to really highlight the importance that friends have. Uh, when you are on this journey, especially considering that this, our life, I mean, everyone's life is relatively short, and honestly, the only way to make it a little more colorful, a little more fun, and of course, to make it a little more valuable for ourselves is to have those friends, to be able to talk to those friends, to be able to laugh with them, joke around with them, and of course, have conversations in other languages. And I can't thank all the friends I have enough. I'm glad I got to actually share this on a Sunday rather than one of the more serious days, because definitely having friends and having someone to interact with, especially when you're feeling down in the dumps. And there are many instances of MS which make you feel down in the dumps. It's always great to have people that you can just you know um, just break or just diffuse any sort of negativity you're experiencing, any sort of um, negative emotions that are coming up, any tension that you might be having for any reason whatsoever. And so as a result, for this Sunday check-in, I do hope that you take the time, you take the initiative to interact with a few people, to interact with your friends, to just have that one, small conversation, right? It doesn't have to be a voice conversation. You can just talk through text. Generally, I find texting someone a little easier than talking with them on the phone, partially because I tend to forget what I'm talking about when I'm talking on the phone. But at least when I text someone, I have the ability to understand where my train of thought was going. So yes, please do connect with people. And it's very interesting that our our little group of meditators that we usually connect every Sunday. And one of the things, considering today was actually the third Sunday after the actual trip, that we connected, and supposedly this follow up will only last for 4 weeks. Someone actually had the amazing idea of us just continuing it, right? I mean, a lot of times the one thing that does end up happening when you especially meditate is you want to experience the vibes going, you want to keep experiencing the I like to call it the vibrations, just because I can actually feel it as vibrations in my fingertips and elsewhere in my body. And it's a very similar feeling when I talk about um, when I talk about you know friends, when I talk to friends. So yes, please continue to interacting with your please continue to interact with your friends. Please do set aside some time. It doesn't have to be on a weekly basis, it could be on a monthly basis. You can even talk to them twice a year, once a quarter. But do end up making the effort to just connect with them, so that you can feel a little more assured, you can feel a little happier. And sometimes it's only that little bit of connection that can really change your entire day's outlook. So yes, please look at doing that. If you definitely do want to connect, you know um, do you know nobody is ever going to say that they do not want to connect with you, right? Just drop them a message. Hopefully they should be able to respond soon enough, and then you can definitely set aside a little bit of time just to go over, just to catch up with each other, so that you can also feel a little happier. You can, and I'm pretty sure your friend will as well. So with that said, I do hope your weekend went very well. I hope that you did get the much needed rest that you do deserve every single weekend. And of course, with all of that said, this has been Naren Saifitamas. I am Naren, and here's wishing you a good night, sweet dreams. And of course, I will catch you tomorrow. Bye.